Would I be the butthole if I told my roommate's mom that I won't be following her rules in my apartment? My roommate, who I'll call Emily, and I, both female, 21, are college students, and we live in an off-campus apartment together. We split rent and utilities 50-50. I pay for my part myself, but Emily's parents pay for hers. Emily's mom is a bit overbearing and has a lot of rules for our apartment, the main one being that no boyfriends are allowed to sleep over, as it's against her religion. She specifically told Emily to have a talk with me about this subject to tell me this isn't allowed, after we moved in. Emily doesn't care if I have my boyfriend over for the night, as she does it all the time without telling her parents. However, it strikes me the wrong way that Emily's mom feels like she can impose non-negotiable rules on me when she doesn't pay for any of my part of the bills. Today Emily's parents are coming to visit, and I expect her mom to go over all the rules that she's set with me. Would I be the butthole if I told her mom that, with all due respect, I am paying my portion of the rent, and she doesn't have any control of the things I do in my own apartment? On one hand, I feel like I'm justified. This woman is trying to impose her own religious beliefs onto me in an apartment that I pay half of the bills for. The idea of just rolling over and telling her that I'll obey her demands when just doing my own thing behind her back doesn't sit right with me. However, after speaking to my own mother about the subject, she thinks that it would be disrespectful. She says that even though I am paying for my half of the rent, Emily's family is still paying for this apartment, and they should be able to have a say of what goes on, even if Emily and I just end up breaking those rules anyway. I've spoken to Emily about this subject, and she doesn't care if I tell her mom that I will or will not be following those rules, as long as I don't indicate that Emily breaks them. So, I was hoping to get some outside opinions here. Reddit, what do you think? Would I be the butthole if I told my roommate's mom that I won't be following her rules in my apartment? Edit, thank you all for your input. Her parents stopped in briefly but then left to go get food. They'll be staying here overnight though, so I'm planning on updating this later tonight to let everyone know what goes down when we all sit down and talk. I also just wanted to say that after talking to Emily further about this, it turns out that her dad really doesn't care what I do and thinks that his wife's demands are extremely unreasonable. This is why Emily doesn't care if I speak up or not, because I guess that even though her mom is paying the bills, it's her dad who makes the money to support them all. Emily says that her dad would never make her move just because her roommate doesn't follow traditional Christian values, and even though her mom is a bit of a squeaky wheel, her words, not mine, her dad makes all the final decisions here. Update, thanks again for everyone's input, as well as all the awards. As of right now, nothing has really happened. They're all in the living room watching movies and I'm just hanging out in my room. That being said, if Emily's mother does say anything, I'm planning on still addressing it in a respectful way while also making my boundaries clear. I'll do another update tomorrow morning after they leave. Final update, okay, so her parents just went home, so this will be the final update. As I expected, her mom did bring up the rules, but it didn't go in the way that I expected. First, a little bit of background info about Emily's relationship with her mom. They argue about politics a lot. I won't go into specifics, but essentially Emily is on one end of the political spectrum and her mom is at the exact opposite end. Her mom is also into a lot of conspiracy theories and this topic causes a lot of arguments between the two. Anyways, I guess the entire time they were together yesterday, Emily and her mom were arguing over politics. This morning, when I came out of my bedroom, I overheard them arguing about it again. They stopped when they saw me. I sat down and was having a casual discussion with Emily and her parents, and then her mom started saying something about the vaccine. Emily just snapped at her mom, and told her to not bring politics up. Emily's mom was quiet for a minute, and then she brought up the rules. Emily snapped at her mom again, told her that she already talked to me about it, and to just drop it. It wasn't brought up again. And then that was that. We all talked casually about school and work for a little bit and then they packed up and left. Not the butthole. She's not your mom. She's not paying your bills. Tell her to F off. This is the only correct answer. Well, maybe Emily gets yanked from apartment and her life is worse. Yay, this is definitely a potential negative with no upside here except you being able to tell someone to F off. Not the butthole, but you could mess up your own existing living situation. I agree with this assessment. It may be too late for this, since original poster says the visit is today, but I wonder if original poster could just not be there during the visit? Then there would be no need to lie or have a confrontation, and original poster could sidestep the entire situation. If the mom is so set on enforcing rules on someone who isn't even her own child, then I don't doubt that she would snoop in original poster's room. Original poster could lock the door. Like the flimsy locks on internal doors have ever stopped someone in full snoop mode. Hell, if it's a standard apartment, the only locks it has been the push-button kind, which are, in theory, only openable from the inside. Spoiler alert, those are child's play to open. Most of them have some sort of override, a hole you stick something in, or a screwdriver-operated turny thing, that I'm sure Snoopy Mom knows about. Exactly. Not the butthole, but I wouldn't do it. You're giving this woman the power to adversely affect your life. You could lose Emily as a roommate, and Emily risks losing some of the control that she has over her own life. I wouldn't give her that power, or respect her enough to tell her the complete truth. Honestly, if it were me, I would nod and smile and let her leave in blissful ignorance, and then go on with my life. I think everyone, including the parents, would be happier that way. Sometimes you just keep something to yourself. You have nothing to benefit and Emily might have everything to lose. It for sure isn't disrespectful on original poster's part. People can't expect to be able to make rules for you. What if her parents don't want Emily to live with you any longer? Saying you're such a terrible influence and not wanting their daughter to have anything to do with you. Why risk making life harder on Emily? She's already having it rough enough with such crafty parents. Imagine you telling them to F off, just for them to make Emily come home. You pay 100% rent, be alone and have Emily living in crap. For some things you're better off to ignore it. Because Emily's mom is being unreasonable. They signed a lease, they're financially obligated now. They're the ones who waited till after move-in to announce such unreasonable demands. Especially if original poster doesn't want to feel like she has to hide it. I think Emily's parents would yank her anyway to save her soul. Or whatever the goal is. And they'd be on the hook for it. Not the butthole, original poster. I believe that absenting yourself while the parents are there would be best, if they aren't going to stay too long and you can do it, no confrontation because you're not there. I don't know how the mom can expect another adult, not even related to her, to follow those rules, especially after she's paying half for the apartment. Not the butthole by a long shot, original poster. Agreed. Just do it nicely and with a big F you smile on your face. Tell her to F off. Look, you're right. And I'd be very tempted to tell them I pay half of the rent, this is my home, and you cannot impose rules on me outside the lease. I won't pressure Emily to break any of your rules and feel we as roommates we should respect each other as adults who are equals and make our own choices. But even that isn't really nice to Emily, I think. Here's the thing, yes, telling them to F off is valid. But I think it will cause shirt for Emily. Emily will then be kept more of an eye on, or even told she has to move out, since parents pay her rent. Emily will be in a bad position, and possibly original poster needing a new roommate, if original poster stands up to Emily's parents. Original poster should absolutely not feel any pressure to follow these rules. But are Emily's parents owed that truth? Does it help anyone for original poster to tell Emily's parents she won't be? Or might it be smarter to just keep that to herself? Emily said she doesn't mind if original poster tells her parents she won't follow their rules. No one involved in the story thinks they'd pull her out of the apartment over it, and I guess Emily's probably the best judge of their likely behavior. Being clear with them that she won't follow the rules might even have some benefits for Emily, as in, if they were to accidentally encounter evidence that the rules aren't being followed, a forbidden item accidentally found, or a neighbor who mentions seeing a guy visiting, she can blame it on the original poster. She's still an adult. Adults get respect. So you say F off, ma'am. Not the butthole, I agree, but you don't need to be rude. If mom tells you her rules, just politely say that you might not follow those rules, but you're looking forward to living with her daughter and think it will work out well. Smile and announce you need to do something. Nice to meet you. Not the butthole at all. But please follow up. I want to know how this goes. Original poster replies. I'll post an update tonight. Let her say her piece and just tell her, no, I'm a grown woman paying my own way and will live life my way. I have nothing more to say and will not hear anything more about your opinions. Good day. When she, invariably, begins the Karening, belt out, I said good day, throw a dab, then peace out. My go-to would be you're not my supervisor. Cheryl style, but this way is probably more effective. I said good day. Yes, a follow-up would be much appreciated. You have every right to tell the mom you won't be following her rules. But, don't be surprised if you're looking for a new roommate soon after. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too. I know it's tempting to tell them to F off, but I think it would be preferable for you and Emily to just grin and bear it through this visit so you can get on with your lives when they leave. If they are that strict, I wouldn't be surprised if they required Emily to check in with them constantly or force her to move if you just start dropping F-bombs. Tell her to F off without telling her to F off. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Not rude. Non-committal. Doesn't address them as rules and so no indication of following or violating them. It's the subtle go F a tree. Original poster replies. I really like this response. Yeah, I think this is one of those situations where the best thing to do is to just nod along and smile, and then do whatever the hell you want. Anyways, outright telling her you won't follow her rules can only have negative consequences, as this woman might ask her daughter to move, and you will need a new roommate, or the woman might end up randomly visiting unannounced more often. If simply smiling and agreeing with her gets her out of your hair, that's probably the best thing to do. What matters is that your roommate doesn't care about the rules. I think this is the best comment. You wouldn't be the butthole. But I'm not sure if it's worth it. Not the butthole. Your answer should be I'll give that all the consideration it deserves. I love this. The most polite F off I've ever heard. I will consider what you are asking. And then walk away. Nah, that implies the request has merit. How about how delightfully quaint, but no. I'm disinclined to acquiesce to your request. Hello, Captain. Also, throw a bless your heart in there for good measure. Not the butthole. Not her house. You're over 18. She's the one being disrespectful. If she brings it up, just say I understand that is your beliefs, but this is my house. The end. Not the butthole, but what would you be accomplishing? I mean, I'm all for standing up for yourself, but this particular battle just seems pointless. I don't see her changing her behavior towards you, and Emily will probably just have to put up with hearing what a horrible roommate she has. I personally wouldn't bother, and save it for when there's actually something worth fighting for. This is how I feel too. I'm all for making a stand, but Emily doesn't care and not even following the rules. It's really hard to find a good roommate. I just listen, internally roll your eyes and then do what you ladies want to when her parents aren't around. I wouldn't rock the boat with her parents because, like I said, finding a good roommate is extremely hard. Not the butthole. Invite your boyfriend over while she's there to establish dominance. And have really loud sex in your room the whole time. For bonus points, send him out into the kitchen, with a towel wrapped round him, to look for olive oil and a cucumber. Not the butthole. It's your apartment, not your roommate's mother's. That lady has zero say whatsoever in how you live in your apartment. Not the butthole, but if the mom is a narcissist, then your world might explode. How about you arrange to be somewhere else each time the mom visits? That way you never officially hear the conversation. Not the butthole. You are both adults and your roommate's mother needs to respect that, you in your home. If she starts talking about her rules, you stop her. Tell her that you are not having this conversation and that she, with all due respect, does not get a say. Excuse yourself, it was nice meeting you, but I have an appointment, and leave. Do not excuse or explain yourself any further. You are an adult and paying your own way, she is not entitled to more. Repeat after me. I am not having this conversation with you. Good luck. Not the butthole. There is a little rule called the 3 F's rule, and it goes like this: if you aren't feeding me, effing me, or financing me, your opinion is irrelevant. Too many times, people are silent to keep the peace. Why? She has no right to dictate to you about the apartment, and you have every right to assert yourself and your autonomy. Emphatically, not the butthole. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.